This is the Archangel 2210 here to talk to you about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. Well, the rumors that there's going to be a reboot. And I didn't just hear about this, I heard about this a while ago, close to a year ago. But I first heard that they were going to do a Buffy movie reboot. And I really don't think it's necessary. I really don't. Because, first off, it started out as a movie. It was first a movie that Joss Whedon created, starring Christy Swanson as Buffy, and a couple years later, it became a series, which was a huge hit, and it had a great run, and it followed Buffy from being a 16-year-old sarcastic teenager to being a grown young woman in her early 20s. So it had a nice long run, and it had a substantial ending to a point where all the other potential girls that would have possibly become Slayers became Slayers, like the full power, to the point where they would become like a small army to defend themselves and, vanquish evil. So she could actually have a start of potentially having her own life and starting her own normal life that she always wanted. And that's kind of where it ended. And of course, it went on continuing in season 8 and season 9 in the comic book universe. So it's still in fact going on, and who knows, it might even go on to season 10 or 11, because in the comic book world, no one ages, no one, you could have no budget or anything. So comic book world, anything goes. So as a comic book, I think it could go on for years. But now, going on with its spin-off Angel, it had a 5-year run. The Angel series, it was a little bit different. Basically, his whole premise was that he was meant to stop an apocalypse, prevent an apocalypse, and once that was prevented, he would become human. And it's like there was like dozens of apocalypses that both Buffy and Angel stopped. So it's like, how many apocalypses are there? So it's almost like, which apocalypse is it? And then the cliffhanger that they had at the very end, it kind of annoying, because it's like, that cut to black type of thing where we never actually got to see the battle that Angel was about to fight with his little friends. The big battle against all those demons and a dragon and everything. It's like, we don't get to see it. So supposedly he became human after that battle, because there was a comic miniseries after the show, Angel After the Fall, that he became human. But if you haven't read the comic, you wouldn't know that. So I've only read bits and pieces. I haven't ever read the actual thing. So I don't know if it's a 5-issue miniseries or a 10-issue miniseries. I'm not entirely sure. But the whole idea of them doing a Buffy reboot and possibly start from scratch where they're probably 15, 16 years old all over again, is it really necessary? No, we don't. It's like, if you want to watch Buffy, then watch the old television show. Get it on DVD, watch the old show, and, do that. Or, I really don't see the need to have another Buffy movie. Don't get me wrong, I love the show, I love Joss Whedon, I think it's awesome, but there's really no purpose to it other than to cash in on the vampire propaganda that's been going on with all the Twilight and Vampire Diaries and all the blah 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 that's been going on. Just, that's really the only reason why they would want to do a Buffy reboot. Now, I kind of agree with what Sarah Michelle Gellar said in an interview, that Buffy the Vampire Slayer really isn't Buffy without Joss Whedon. In my personal opinion, it's just not Buffy without Joss, because he created Buffy and he pretty much molded her, and he pretty much, like, along with Sarah Michelle Gellar, created this personality that you really can't recreate with somebody else, because they're going to do their own thing. Even if they try to pay an homage, they're going to try to do their own thing, and it's going to be totally different than what we were familiar with. So I kind of feel like they should just leave it alone. They shouldn't touch it, and I don't think it's gonna go through at all. Not that I'm wishing anything bad on it. It's just I don't really see this going through because Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it has a huge following, a huge fan base. So, and enthusiastic fans, they like to hold on to what they're familiar with, and if it's changed too much from the original, they're not gonna be happy, and I'll be one of them. And they would change a whole lot of characters, personality wise, quirks, huge things, um, so it's like it's best to just leave things well enough alone. Leave well enough alone. Now, speaking of some of the cast of Buffy, former Buffy cast, if you're a fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar, you could catch her in her brand new show, her return to television in The Ringer on CW. Tuesdays, I believe, at 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm not sure at the time. I believe it is 8 o'clock. I could be mistaken. The Ringer. It's a really good show. I've caught a few episodes. She basically plays twins. And one is like a rich debutante, not a debutante, but a rich twin that lives like in New York City, penthouse, and the whole deal. And the other twin is one that's been struggling her life, and pretty much had a hard life. And the rich twin didn't tell anyone that she had a twin at all, or a sister. So the rich twin, Siobhan, she fakes her death. So even her sister thinks that she's dead. She fakes her death, and then the one that no one knew about, she takes on her identity for a while, and it starts this whole thing of lies and deception. She's lying to Siobhan's family and everyone around her, and then it's like a little bit is being resolved, and it's getting really good. Now, another Buffy castmate is doing something coming out this month. Batman Year One for DC Universe animated film, and I really love these DC Universe animated films. Keep them coming. Do not stop them. They are awesome. I love the animation. I love the acting, and they keep pushing the envelope a little bit further every time. And that's what I really like about them, because it's really something you really can't see in Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network has really become like a PG channel, and these are like PG-13, so they could really push them a little bit further. That's the whole point of making it straight to DVD. Push it a little bit further. So, like, Elijah Dushku does the voice of Catwoman, so she has this really like raspy, like sensual voice that really works for Catwoman nicely, and that tough, fantastic voice, like really good voice. Pretty like I said in the title, Year One. So it's pretty much Batman, him becoming Batman, his whole relationship with Jim Gordon, and him and Selena Kyle meeting, and that whole dynamic. So that whole thing is going to be going on, and there's in fact a mini episode on there of Catwoman that's for like about 15 minutes long, and that almost seems like a pilot of a cartoon series, and that I would love to see as a cartoon series. Well, signing out.